Selam dostlar, benim Turkmençe dersime hoş geldiniz. Hello and welcome to our Turkmen lesson. Today we're going to discuss verbs in the Turkmen language, specifically the different verb tenses, the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. In the Turkmen language, there's two categories for every verb. There's verbs that end in MEK, and there's verbs that end in MAK. And based on that verb ending, you can conjugate every verb. There's very few exceptions to these rules of conjugation. There is one or two which I'll discuss today. So our model verb for verbs that end in MEK for today is etmek, which means to do. This is a very popular and used verb in the Turkmen language because not only does it mean to do, and you do a lot of things, but it's also you can combine it with nouns to make new verbs. For example, pikir etmek or fekir etmek means to think. You combine the noun thought and to do, and you make the verb to think. Likewise, devam etmek, to continue. Yok etmek, as you know, yok means no, but it also means no as in there's nothing. So yok etmek means to completely destroy or demolish. So you can see how this verb can be used in a lot of different ways in the Turkmen language. At least one of the different ways it can be used. Our model verb for verbs that end in MAK for today is durmak, which means to stop or to wait. And then in some cases, like down here, it can also mean to continue. But generally it means to stop or wait, or sometimes it can mean to stand as well. There's a lot of different verbs that end in MAK and MEK because, as I said, all of the verbs fall into one of these two categories. So here's some more examples from the verbs that end in MEK. The verb yemek, to eat. The verb görmek, to see. The verb gözlemek, to look or watch. And the verb oytmek, which means to think. In the Turkic languages, at least in the Turkmen language and the Turkish language spoken in Anatolia, there's generally different words for the same thing. One word is originally from a foreign language, and one word is originally Turkish. So, for example, this word pikir or fekir is either from Arabic or Persian, whereas this verb oytmek is Turkish, not Turkish, but comes from a Turkic root. Düşünmek, to understand. By the way, if you speak Turkish, düşünmek means to think. It doesn't have that meaning in the Turkmen language. Düşünmek means to understand. Gitmek, to go. And there's many more examples. Likewise, with the verbs that end in MAK, I gave some examples as well. For example, okumak, or some people pronounce it okimak. Bulmak. Okimak means to read. Bulmak means to be. Again, this can also be used, and I'll speak about one example down here. It can be used with different nouns to make new verbs or to add new meaning. Almak, which means to take. Barmak means to go or to head to. Barmak, just a noun, also means finger, but the verb means to head somewhere. Yapmak, this is also different than Turkish. In Turkish, yapmak, Anatolian Turkish, and Anatolian Turkish yapmak means to do. It's another word that's used interchangeably with etmek. In the Turkmen language, the only verb that means to do is the verb etmek. Yapmak in the Turkmen language means to close. Yani Türkmen dilinde yapmak kapatmak demektir. Oturmak means to read. Yazmak means to write. Datmak means to taste. For example, let's think of burek datmak, to taste the burek, which is a traditional Turkmen food. Okay? So I'll start with the present tense and then I'll move down to the other tenses as this lesson goes on. So the present tense. This is how the present tense is conjugated for the verb etmek. And then if you don't understand these tables, let me explain that as well. It's so this category here, men, which means I in Turkmen. This is how you say I do, you do, he does, we do, you all do. So you can see how biz is kind of the plural of men. We is the plural of I. Y'all is the plural of you. And they is the plural of he, she, or it. So y'all do, they do. Okay, so how do you say I do? Men et yarın. Now here's another thing. If you see these parentheses around, it means that you don't have to pronounce that verb. So it's also pronounced, it's actually, most of the time it's not pronounced et yarın, because that's a lot of syllables and people talk really fast. They usually take out this R and this I, and they say men et yan. I'm doing, or I do. Sen et yarsın, or sen et yan. You do, you are doing. Ol or o et ya, or et yar. Biz et yarız, or you take this out, biz et yas. Here's another thing about this case in the we case of the present form. In some dialects, instead of ending with S, it ends with G. So we say et yag instead of et yarız. I mean, instead of et yaz, we say et yag. Instead of et yarız, we say et yarik. Siz et yarsınız, y'all are doing. Or siz et yangiz. Olar et yarlar, et yarlar, et yarlar. Excuse me. Olar et yarlar. You see, we never pronounce the whole, it's a lot of syllables, so we just say et yarlar, So you can actually put a parentheses around this as well. For the verbs that end in mak, the conjugation is very similar. So it's really not that much extra to memorize. It's actually more in the spelling that's the difference. And then there are some minor phonetic changes, which if you don't pick up on, that's fine. So durmak for I am waiting. Men duryarın, or men duryar. Sen duryarsın, sen duryar. O duryar, or duryar. Biz duryak. Duryarız. Siz duryarsınız. Again, nobody would say duryarsınız unless you're speaking formally. You would probably say duryangiz. Take this out. Ola duryarlar, or duryarlar. Okay, they are waiting. The past tense. I did. Men ettim. Sen ettin. Ol etti. Biz ettik, siz ettiniz, ola ettiler. So, before I move on to the past tense, going back to the present tense. So now you know how to say I am doing in the Turkmen language. Okay? How do you say I am eating in the Turkmen language? Well, I said this verb means to eat, right? So how are you going to say I eat? You just take the stem, you take the ending off the MEK ending, and you use this conjugation. So instead of et yarın, you say men yarın. I'm eating right now. Men yiyen. Men goryen, or sen goryen. How do you say you are watching? You are watching television. Sen, the word for television is televisor, or televizyon, depending which area you're from. So sen televizyon gozeyen. Goze, and then you add this yen. Okay? Men oynayan. I think, whatever. Düşünmek. You'll often hear when people talk, they say düşündün mü? Which actually goes to the past tense. They say, did you understand? And then you say, düşündüm. I understood. Gitmek means to go. So, how do you say, for example, they are going? Ola git yala. So you can see how you can use these verb endings, these verb conjugations, with all of the different verbs that end in MEK. So when I teach you this one, how to conjugate this one verb, I'm actually teaching you guys how to conjugate like half of the verbs in the Turkmen language. Likewise, with durmak, to wait. How would you say, with these verb endings, how would you say, I'm reading right now? Or just say, I am reading. You get this stem here, this root, oku, or oka, and then you put it in here. So, men okuyen. One thing about this verb, bolmak, to be, it's usually not conjugated in the present tense, unless as a helper, unless it has a different meaning. If it's conjugated in the present tense, and it goes together with other verbs. But to say I am, you don't use the verb. You just say men, and then you say the noun. For example, I am. Let's think of something. I am a student. Men okuchi. You just say the noun student, okuchi, and you use the preposition men. I don't know if it's called preposition, whatever it's called. You use this, which means I, and then you just add the noun. So you don't actually use the verb to say I am something. Almak means to take. So let's say, how do you say you take? Sen al yan. Or you want to say it formally? Sen al yarsın. Ona al yarsın. You're taking that right now. Namachin ona al abdum. I just use a different conjugation. Namachin ona al yan. Why are you taking that? Barmak, to go. Where's he going? Onira barya. O otag barya. He's going over there. Ol baryar. How do you say we are closing? Biz yap yaris, biz yap yas, biz yap yak. I'll probably say yap yak. Also, this is one of the verbs that's really not used in the present tense. Oturmak, to sit down. They're sitting down. No, y'all are sitting down. Siz otur yangiz. Siz otur yarsınız. Yazmak, to write. They are writing. Yazyarlar, to taste. Men.yan. Okay? So I won't go through all of those verbs for these ones too, because you guys understand the point, right? You take this part out, and this part out, and you put in the other verb stem, and you can make whatever verb you want. So back to the past tense. I did, men ettim. You did, sen ettin. He did, ol etti. We did, biz ettik. Siz ettiniz, y'all did. Onlar ettiler, they did. I wrote. And I used the verb, I changed the modal verb to write here, to yazmak, because durmak, when it's conjugated in the past tense, is one of the few verbs that it's irregular. And it's really not that big of a deal. So it uses you instead of y. So men durdum, durdu. Actually, I think this would still be a y, durdu. But you can see it's irregular to the pattern. But if you understand this pattern here, then even if you say instead of durdum, if you say durdim, it's really not a difference, and people are going to understand you. So just understand the main rules, and then you can work on figuring out the irregulars in the future. So men yazdım, I wrote. Men kitap yazdım, I wrote a book. Sen yazdın, o yazdı, biz yazdık, siz yazdınız, onlar yazdılar. Yeah. And in the future tense, you guys are going to like this because it's super easy. You just add this J-E-K ending, and it's the same for every place. So I'm going to do, men edecek. You're going to do, sen edecek. O edecek, biz edecek, siz edecek, onlar edecek. I'm going to wait. Ben duracak. Sen duracak. O duracak. Biz duracak. Siz duracak. Ola duracak. Now, instead of saying, men edecek, you don't really know when you're going to do it. It's not a very specific point in time. If you want to say, I'm trying to do that right now, like I'm going to do it right now, you say men edecek, and then you conjugate bolmak to the present tense. Men edecek bolyen. I'm trying to do that right now. Sen edecek bolyen. You're trying to do that right now. O edecek bolyen. Biz edecek bolyek. Actually, you might hear this edecek with bolmak a lot more than just by itself. Siz edecek boyanız, ola edecek boyalı. I don't think it's often. I think you can do the same thing with other verbs, but you'll often hear this, hear bolmak and together with the future tense of etmek. Okay, so these are the main tenses in the Turkmen language, and if you understand these three tenses, the present, the past, and the future, then you'll be able to communicate in Turkmen pretty easily. These aren't the only tenses in the Turkmen language. There's some other tenses, and you can pick those up along the way if you're serious about learning this language. But if you understand these three tenses and you talk to people, they're going to understand what you mean. For example, I talked about the future tense and this tense, or you can combine it with bulmuk. There's another way you can use the future tense. You can use it, how do we say? So for example, you could say men ederim, and then that's, sooner, sometime in the future, I will do it. And you'll learn those tenses too, or maybe I'll teach them, or if you just Google Turkmen language verb tenses, I'm sure you'll get a PDF file that teaches all this. Yeah. So then there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. I use the verb durmak, which means to stop or wait, and the verb etmek, which means to do. So you can actually combine these two verbs. So you can say edip durmak, and that's more like present tense. So like you're doing it right now. So men edip durun, like I'm doing it right now. They can ask you, did you do that? And you can say edip durun, I'm doing it right now. So you can see these conjugations, and then you just change this to edip, and then you add that, and then it's more of a present tense. Okay. So you guys have a pretty good understanding of the verb tenses in this language now, and yeah. So thanks for watching, and good luck. All right.